A very warm welcome to the news in details now. The United States of America has commended Rwanda for accepting to temporarily shelter Afghan refugees who are fleeing the Taliban in their own country. Now, Rwanda is among 13 countries that have accepted to receive the refugees, including Albania, Canada, Colombia, Costa Rica, Chile, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Mexico, Poland, Qatar, and Ukraine. Now, the refugees include 250 students from the School of Leadership, Afghanistan, or SOLA, and they are to come to Rwanda, where they will be able to continue their studies using technology like video conferencing. Now, the school's founder has thanked Rwanda for accepting to shelter the students. Rwanda's Ministry of Education has confirmed that the students will be facilitated in their studies. Now let's move on. The Ministry of Environment has announced that in the future, garbage from communities will be bought by waste companies. Now this comes at a time when citizens pay for the garbage removal services. Let's hear more on the details.
Around Kigali city, as well as in other cities, garbage trucks are being transported to designated dumpsters. As the number of people in the cities increases, so does the number of the amount of waste from domestic or other public consumption areas. In the city of Kigali alone, the amount of waste going to the landfills rose from 141.3 tons in 2006 to 595.7 tons in 2015. Kigali City Mayor Prudence Rubingisa points out that improving the collection, transportation and production of the waste has not gone well despite the ongoing changes.
We have not yet attained what we need to, but this project will bring a good and lasting solution. And this waste will be used to generate more opportunities, as the minister explained.
Environmental protection agencies say that overall emissions of pollutants are at 14%, while the emissions alone stand at 54%. A 3-year project has been launched in Rwanda that will focus on improving waste collection, transportation and production. Environment Minister Dr. Jean-Marie Jeanne d'Arc points out that while this waste has been an issue for many years, this will be a thing of the past in the near future. We want our citizens to work for themselves by knowing how to differentiate the different types of waste from our homes, and they will be paying us to get our waste and not us paying them as we are doing right now. The €4 million pilot project, which will cost more than 4 billion Rwandan francs, will create new jobs related to waste generation, and this will contribute to the reducing greenhouse gas emissions. By 2030, Rwanda hopes to reduce its air pollution by 38%, and this is according to the 2015 Paris Agreement.
Now, the Chief of Defense Forces of Tanzania People's Defense Forces, General Venance Mabeyo, is on an official visit to Rwanda from 23rd August 2021 to 26th August 2021. Now, today, General Mabeyo paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Defense, Major General Albert Murasira, and thereafter held bilateral discussions with his counterpart, General Jean Bosco Kazura, at Rwanda Defense Force headquarters in Kimihurura. Now, in the interview, General Mabeyo said that this visit aims to strengthen cooperation between TPDF and RDF. He added that it was a reciprocal visit to the recent visit by the RDF CDS General Jean Bosco Kazura to Tanzania, and stressed that such visits are a sign of the level of confidence and mutual trust between our respective militaries. Now, TPDF Chief of Defense Forces and his delegation paid respects to the victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi at the Gisozi Genocide Memorial, and also visited the Campaign Against Genocide Museum. He will also visit the RDF Command and Staff College and Kinigi IDP Model Village in Musanze District.
This is a sign of friendship, and then our cooperation between the Tanzania People's Defense Forces and the Rwanda Defense Forces. So the exchange of these visits strengthens our relationship much more, and then also gives confidence and more trust to our people that they are defended, they are protected all the time. When we talk together and then we exchange whatever transpires between our borders, and then we can resolve them amicably rather than creating mistrust between ourselves. That's what is there all the time. And then you can just remember General Kazula visited our country also. It is in the same spirit that we are eager and we are always determined and then committed to make sure that our countries are well protected.
Now, the Rwanda National Police and the Lesotho National Police Forces has signed a cooperation agreement on counter-terrorism. It was signed in Kigali by the police chiefs of both countries. Now, Gloria Mutesi has more on the report.
Rwanda was represented by the Inspector General of Police CG Dan Munyuza, and on behalf of Lesotho was Commissioner of Police Holomo Molibeli. Rwanda National Police spokesperson CP John Bosco Kabera notes that the agreement will benefit both parties, especially in the fight against terrorism.
It's related to fighting crime, and we know that there are a lot of cross-border crimes. So we are looking at how people can cooperate in fighting terrorism and exchanging information in terms of cross-border crime and beyond the continent. So these agreements are important in this regard.
Commissioner Holomo Molibeli points out that in addition to strengthening cooperation in combating cross-border crimes, it also prioritizes cooperation in enhancing police skills.
From our perspective as the Lesotho Mounted Police Service, we have viewed Rwanda National Police as a sister organization that in particular training areas that we have identified, and we are here to view some of the places where we would say these are the areas that need more emphasis in our strategy to further our trainings.
During their visit to Rwanda, the delegation of senior police officers will visit different police institutions, including police training schools. Gloria Mutesi reporting for RTV News.
Residents of the sectors bordering Rwanda and Burundi in Gisagara district side say the measures they took to curb the issue of people that cross the border illegally have paid off in terms of slowing down the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Take a look.
In the last few years, within the sectors bordering Rwanda and Burundi in Gisagara district, there have been frequent arrests of people from Burundi and Rwanda smuggling goods. A few times we would cross over to buy a few things such as cooking oil because we are neighbors, but since the pandemic hit, we no longer do that. They encouraged us to avoid the cross-border movement. Since the pandemic hit Rwanda last year, different measures were put in place to curb the spread of the virus, including those that put a hold on travel between the two countries. And since then, more health counselors were deployed. Local authorities in Gisagara district then moved to close some markets in sectors where most people from Burundi would operate from, a move residents applaud, saying it prevented the spread of COVID-19 in the district as compared to other districts. There used to be a market at Gatunda where so many people would meet, either from Burundi or Rwanda, but currently it's no more. Burundians have stayed in their country and we've stayed here as well. There's no movement between. The vice mayor in charge of social affairs in Gisagara districts asked residents not to be complacent when it comes to COVID-19 preventive measures as the country continues to fight the pandemic. We ask our residents to continue protecting themselves from COVID-19. Even though none of our sectors have been placed under lockdown, the virus is still very much around. We continue to ask for cooperation in protecting each other. And now that we have rain, people should start cultivating and avoid crowded areas, which might result into the spread of the virus. As of July 25th, Gisagara district had more than 300 COVID-19 patients under the home-based care. They have now reduced to 110 cases currently. Mamba sector accounts for the highest number of COVID-19 cases, with up to 22 patients under the home-based care program.
Strawberry farmers in Rwanda say that they need training on how to increase their produce because currently Rwanda imports over 60 tons of strawberries. Hongichi Emmanuel from Rutsiro district and Nyirabarigira Irene from Muhanga district are both strawberry growers. They say they need training on how to properly cultivate it.
It's a new crop to many of us, which requires extra attention and cleanliness because it is eaten straight without having to peel it. Therefore, there is need for knowledge about it.
We don't have enough knowledge on it, yet we want to upgrade our agriculture sector, but the produce is little compared to the size of the land we cultivate on. We were told that if only we had knowledge on how to cultivate it, we would produce more. The lack of knowledge and quality seeds are among the reasons for reduced productivity, hence over 63.5 tons of strawberries are always imported in the country. Some processors and farmers say there is potential for its cultivation.
They are not as widely grown as other fruits, yet there is high market demand for them due to the products that are made from them. And for me to invest in them depends on the willingness of farmers to grow them. Hence, if they were available, it's possible for an investor to invest as well as increasing the machines in factories that process them.
379 tons of strawberries can be sold in Rwanda's market every year, while 20 tons can be exported to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Ngabitsinze Jean Chrysostome, emphasizes that the goal is to increase the production of the available crops in Rwanda that are needed in domestic markets and abroad.
It's a crop that has the potential to generate a lot of income for those that can invest in it due to its demand on the market. And now that we get tourists from all over the world coming to visit Rwanda, it's all more needed. Like we discussed with His Excellency the President, a lot of focus should be put on growing it.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources is encouraging farmers to invest in strawberries because they now cost 2,000 to 6,000 Rwandan francs per kilogram, while the previous price was just 500 Rwandan francs. FIBA Afrobasket 2021 has begun at the Kigali Arena and day one featured 4 games. Now, Tunisia played Guinea in the morning with the latter dominated and the game ended 82-46 in favor of Tunisia. Now, next was the Central African Republic versus Egypt. And again, the North African team was the better side, winning 72-56. Rwanda clashed with the DRC at 6 p.m. and though the scoreline was sometimes close, ultimately Rwanda would pull away from her neighbor in the west, finishing things with 82 points and the DRC with 68. Angola's game with Cape Verde started at 9 p.m.